Hello there.
That's a weird laugh.
I was playing around.
Oh. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
2 for Tuesday. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Yay.
Do some invites. Invite. Hope you guys are enjoying these.
I like the Brittany's taco holder in the car. You remember that? on
Oh,
Facebook?
and her son, you know that extra thing in your car that comes down? Brittany had a thing on Facebook where that holds tacos.
Yeah, where you put your sunglasses
That
in.
is funny. Yeah.
Taco holder.
Brittany, have you guys tried that out?
Mhm.
You'll have to let us know.
You don't want to close it, though. It's just...
No, that's true. That's true. Well, hello, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful day.
Yeah. I know we did because
Yes.
it's been a beautiful day of rain and clouds.
Yes. Which also makes the flowers grow.
It does.
And we're not in a drought.
No, we're not in a drought.
No, so see?
The man
Blessings.
The man with the boat and the animals said we were not in a drought.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's funny. Well, cool deal. Well, jumping right in, we're on Acts number 14. And Paul and Barnabas. And it's kind of funny because they're saying, Rick had to help me with this one, because now all of a sudden they're calling him Paul, and it's been saying Saul, which he is the same person, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But Rick has a theory on that, so more to come.
Yeah. I think. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you. I think Saul is his Jewish name, and he was a Roman citizen as well. So I think Paul is his Roman name.
That's so cool. It makes sense why he keeps going back and forth so much then, too.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. He's so smart. So,
Okay.
I have a note on number 4.
4.
But the Jews, they're at it again. They're instigating people, instigating trouble, and trying to get people against Paul and Barnabas. And what do they want to do? They want to encourage the city to stone them. Those crazy Jews.
And it's just continual.
Always. Same thing over and over again.
Yeah, the people who are supposed to be bringing the gospel are the ones against
Yep.
it. So.
They like him and they want to hear it until he starts getting the followers, and then they want to kill him.
Yeah. And,
Crazy.
Verse 6 I got, well, you see the towns in verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to show the area where Paul and Barnabas are. I don't know what to call them, Paul or Saul. It's Galatia. And the area here was named Galatia because the people in Gaul, the Celtics, were kicked out of Gaul, France, and they settled there 300 BC. And so that was a northern area.
That's wild.
Yeah, and so it's called Galatia after the Gauls.
That's
Galatia.
interesting.
Yeah, and the towns we're looking at here,
That's really cool. So that was found it. That's really wild.
And it was under their control, the Galatians or the Celtics control until 25 BC, and that's when the Roman Providence took over. And
Wow.
they annexed these little towns we're looking at right now. These are all part of Galatia. And later we'll see Paul writes a letter to the Galatians, and we'll talk about that more in maybe the next chapter or so.
That's so cool, though.
But it's pretty cool.
So you found that out from the Bible dictionary?
Yeah, I was looking up the towns and stuff as we're going along, and I would suggest to do that because somehow that brings so much more color into what we're reading.
Yeah.
So it's really neat.
That's really cool. I like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Mom.
Thanks for joining.
Mom. Okay.
All right. On
All
to
right.
the next word. The next word.
The next
Onward,
word.
Christian soldiers.
The word "and."
So I had on number 11, the footnote is kind of interesting because, so the town that they're in, Laotian or whatever, however you say it, the people they're pagans. They're very not learned in a way, in that sense. They're pagans and they are superstitious and stuff like that. Well, they have a folklore that a long time ago, the gods in heaven, or wherever they're from, Zeus and Hermes had come down and disguised themselves as regular people, and they were amongst them, and they were looking for people that were friendly and nice to them because they were trying to see if the town was good or bad. Well, everybody just ignored them, except for 2 people, Philemon and somebody else. And they took them in because they didn't know who they were, and they just thought they were poor travelers. And they took them in, gave them some food, gave them shelter, and were nice to them. And so then Zeus and Hermes revealed themselves and said, "You two are going to be saved because you guys were nice to us, and everybody else is going to be killed." And so they killed off the whole town except for those two people, and they gave them like a gold house or something like that. But it's neat because they think now that Paul and Barnabas did this miracle because we didn't talk about it, but the guy who had not walked since birth, they healed him and said, "Get up," and he started walking. So they're like, "Uh-oh, there's Zeus and Hermes again," because they're not going to let this one go by. And so they start naming them that because they think it's the gods come down in regular clothes again to trick them and test them.
Yeah. Wow, that's very interesting.
I know, it's really fun. This is a cool chapter, like a lot of notes.
There is, and Zeus is the head god. He's actually the principal god, and actually in Rome he was called Mercury, so he was the same god, but he was the most powerful ruler god. And they ended up calling Barnabas Zeus, and Paul they called Hermes because he was like a patron god of scientists. I think I wrote notes here because I couldn't remember it all. Oh, commerce, scientists, inventions, and things like that. But also he was the patron god. He would go from the other gods, and he was the messenger for them gods. So Paul was doing all the speaking, so they called him Hermes.
That makes sense. He is like the messenger.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So,
but that's wild. So they're thinking that it's those two guys back and testing them.
Yeah, it's amazing how the superstition comes together. But, okay, so, and then verse 14 was interesting because they just, all these people start trying to worship, Paul and Barnabas. And they tore their clothes off and crying out to them and saying, "Now I'll let you take over."
Okay, because I had the note on 15.
Yeah.
But they're like, "Don't worship us. We're just men like you." And they're like, "You should be worshiping God." And they're saying, "God who made the earth and the sun and the waters and the fields and stuff." And the reason that's important, because that's who God is. But normally they refer to God as, the God of, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and whatever.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And so, but they're not saying it to these guys because, remember I said they're pagans. So they don't know anything about the Old Testament. So they've never heard of it. So if they were to address God as the God of the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they'd have no clue who he's talking about. So they're saying this is the God who made the earth and who made the waters and the seas and the animals. So they're relating God to what they know. And I think that's kind of cool because they're using different language to their audience.
And what's interesting about that is like in the Psalms 19, this says the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament is his handiwork. And so I guess all men, like the Jews had the law, but the rest of the world had the witness of God in creation.
Yeah, so that's true.
That's
I
cool.
like that.
I like what you brought out there.
That's cool. Thank you.
Really good. Verse 19, you have a note there.
Yes. And so, again, the Jews, they were causing trouble, as we already discussed, and they wanted the town to stone Paul and Barnabas, and they finally did talk the town into stoning Paul. But the good news is they stone him and drag him out of the city, and they think he's dead. They're like, patootie, but he's not dead. Woohoo!
This cracks me up, too, because what's the first thing he does? Instead of going and hiding or whatever, the first thing he does is he goes right back in the city. He's just like, "Oh yeah, okay." Well, he goes right back in and starts preaching the gospel.
That would freak everybody out too.
Yeah, I mean, what a courage and stuff.
Very much. Well, don't forget these guys also just traveled up that big mountain.
Oh yeah,
remember? So they're pretty brave because those guys were the tribesmen, the dangerous tribesmen, and they had to climb the jagged rocks that were like 3,600 feet up in the air, and
the mountains of Taurus.
Yeah, so they are pretty tough dudes.
Yeah, they are.
So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It's like, stone me, go ahead, I'll come right back.
Exactly. And then verse 26, it says they sailed finally back to Antioch, which was the beginning of the Gentile church. And I just want to bring up there that there was two Antiochs because we saw one here in Galatia, and then this one here is the Antioch of Syria.
Which is confusing, though.
It could be. The name is after, see if I can say it right, is Antiochus or something like that. But that
Antiochus?
Yeah.
Antiochus.
So it was whoever, anyway, settled it. But, so anyway, they go back to the original church, and in verse 27 it's neat because just like in Jerusalem, at first, when the church was spreading out just a little bit, excuse me, they go back to the church and talk about what happened. Well, here they go back to the Gentile church and say all this happened. They opened the door of faith and everything. The Gentiles were receiving the gospel. And so it's kind of cool. They report back to the church, and it makes everything one again.
That is cool.
Yeah,
I like
It makes
that.
it solid. So.
I like that. Very concrete.
Yeah, so a
Cool.
lot of good stuff in there
It
today.
was very neat. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yay.
And tomorrow is going to be Acts 15.
Yeah. And I hope you guys are enjoying this and share different thoughts that you have or things
Yeah.
you like. Shoot us some thumbs up or whatever. But we love you guys and hope you're doing well. And we could do some shout outs.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Ah! You know what's really funny? We didn't even plan that.
Yeah.
We're stupid.
Well, we did that.
That's a shout out. All right, love you guys.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.